So thank you all for coming, and thank you, Brian, for organizing this. The speech that I'm going to give today is called Moving the Movement, Improving It. And I like this presentation because it addresses criticisms that have been levied against American Atheists and me about the efficacy of our work. As most of you know, American Atheists is the firebrand of the movement. We're the ones who raise the fists and the picket signs and say the words, most importantly, that need to be said even if they're politically incorrect. And this presentation is about that methodology, and it's about how well it works. And I hope you like it. Before I get into it, we're going to go through an agenda. Apparently, the computer's not going to let me do that. Come on. Please be. There we go. That work? Okay. So obviously I'm having some technical issues, so please give me your patience. The technical issues have just invented themselves. So here's the agenda. First I'm going to talk about what is our activism in the first place. Firebrand activism has a name, but it also has a methodology. I'm going to talk about what it is and what it is not. One slide, but it's a good one. What American Atheist firebrand activity is and what it's not. And then I'm going to talk numbers. Numbers. Atheists like numbers. And I have numbers for you. I like numbers very much. And I have numbers for you to show you how effective what we're doing is on a national level. And I'm going to tell you why you should take the credit, because you as atheists out there, you as members and supporters, are the reasons that we get to do all this. And that's how we're going to go through this. Presentation. I'm going to start out, before I talk about what our activism is, I'm going to tell you what our activism is not. And my friend Bill is going to help me. Tide goes in, tide goes out. Bill's a good man. Now, a few years back, Dr. Phil Plait gave a speech at TAM. Anybody know the title of the speech I'm talking about?
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. And he said, how many of you became a skeptic because someone got in your face screaming and called you an idiot, brain damaged, and a retard? Now, he has gone on record clearly saying that he wasn't talking about me when he said that. But every time somebody talks about that speech, everybody else looks at me. So I'm adopting it anyways. So Phil said that. Bill O'Reilly called me insane, called me a fascist, said we were pushing our views on everybody. Ken Ham says I rant and I rave and I call names. And he's partially right. I will admit to a little bit of ranting and a little bit of raving. But for the most part, American Atheist activity isn't about that at all. We're about telling the truth. We're about firebrand activism. And it's not about insulting people. And it's not about calling them a retard. I have been married to a theist for 23 years because I've never called her a retard. So let's talk about firebrand atheism in 5 points. And this is really what we're doing here. Now, this is my friend. I represent this as the Prophet Muhammad of Islam. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. Now, I'm going to get into why I do that in just a second. The number one point, the number one driver of all of our activity is the number one point in firebrand atheism.